Hello and welcome to the New Homes podcast. I'm here today with 3 new homes experts, and today we'll be taking you through whether now is a good time to move. So, shall we begin with some introductions? James, we've had you on the show before, but for some of our newer listeners, can you tell us what you do?
Thanks, Sonal. Yes, I'm James Holmear and I'm Group Sales Director at Redrow. So really look after all things sort of sales operations across our 14 divisions.
Fantastic. And Alex, how about yourself?
Hi Sonal, I'm Alex Rose, so I'm the Director of New Homes at Zoopla, and we look at all the consumer insights into what home buyers are looking for.
And Andy, we've had you on the show before where you've shared some very useful tips about buying new, but can you tell some of our newer listeners what you do?
Yeah, hi Sonal, I'm Andy Mannion from RSC New Homes. We're new homes mortgage specialists. We work with lots of Redrow customers, helping them through the mortgage journey.
So we've seen a lot of negative headlines around mortgages and the housing market, but did this impact the seasonal spike that we normally see around Christmas, Boxing Day at Zoopla?
It didn't. I mean, as you suggest, you know, in the run up to Christmas, often the market just gets a bit quieter in those few weeks before. Traditionally, there's a big spike from Boxing Day onwards, and we saw exactly the same thing in December. There was a 200% increase on visits to Zoopla.
Oh, wow.
And we know we've seen that sort of maintain really throughout 2023 so far, which is brilliant to see.
Yeah, really good. Okay, so just to follow on from that, have we seen an increase in the number of people who are considering on putting their home on the market?
Yeah, and again, that's another really encouraging sign to see. So we've actually, you know, at Zoopla, our television campaign has been all about what's your home worth and you know, encouraging people to look at the options of what they do next. And we saw a 300% increase actually on valuation requests, which is, you know, people taking that first step to putting their home on the market, understanding what their home's worth before they choose to instruct an agent. And, you know, those people should, you know, actually come through as buyers throughout the course of the year.
Nice. And James, what do you think about that in terms of how are the teams out on developments feeling about this and what are customers' reactions as well?
Well, yeah, I think, you know, there's always that bit of a hiatus over the Christmas period, and I think, you know, last year probably more so than we'd previously seen. However, since coming back in the new year, we've really seen some great demand. I think what we're seeing is customers taking their time. They're being very measured. Yeah. They want to get the facts. They want to get as much information as possible, whether that is about the home itself or what mortgage rates are available for them. And then really being quite considered and measured in terms of before they can sort of make that final decision. And that's why, you know, we're also here to help them do that.
Obviously, not everyone who is renting is in a position to buy, but for those who are thinking about it, what would your advice be?
Yeah, we've seen quite a lot happening in the rental market over the last year or so. It's been a really interesting couple of years, really, for the rental market. A lot of landlords have chosen to exit the market because of taxation, but also, you know, people forget that landlords often have a mortgage on a property as well. So if their mortgage might have gone up over the last few months, maybe they've tried to pass through some of that increased cost for legislation or just running a rental property through to the tenants. So we've seen a really big rise as a result in the cost of renting, about 12% year on year at the moment. But probably more worrying is the fact that actually the amount of homes available to rent is nearly half as much as the 5-year average. So if you are looking to rent at the moment, it's a very competitive market. And, you know, unfortunately, our predictions for the rest of the year are that rents will continue to go up. So I think for those people who are, you know, maybe on the cusp between renting and buying, you know, often we find that actually it's potentially a lower cost if you can get that deposit to actually pay a mortgage, and then it enables you to get on the ladder and start paying off that mortgage rather than sort of remaining in that rental market for a long time and being beholden to what's happening, really.
And with all the different schemes that are available as well at the moment, with deposit unlock, with family assistance mortgages, with extended mortgage terms, it's a great time for people to have a look at different ways to buy.
Yeah.
I'm just going to throw that out there. What is deposit unlock? Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, so Deposit Unlock is a 95% mortgage scheme that's offered on new build properties, and it gives lenders the confidence to lend at 95%. So
Okay.
it's a scheme that's backed by house builders. So we're seeing an increased interest in that. People only need a 5% deposit to buy. They can look at taking mortgage terms over 40 years. So it puts first-time buyers in a really good position to buy rather than rent.
And James, have you got anything to add to Andy?
Yeah, I think, whatever your circumstances, we have got a number of ways really we can help customers purchase a new home from us. So like Andy mentioned, whether it's Deposit Unlock and you're a first-time buyer and looking for that little bit of assistance when it comes to deposit. Equally, if you are already in a home and looking to buy a new Redrow home, we've got a great scheme called Help to Sell, where we, as it sounds, help you find a customer to buy your home to enable you to then purchase a home from Redrow.
So going back to the topic of mortgages, is it a good time right now for people to commit, considering the rates are ever-changing and...
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good time, as ever. The great benefit of using a new homes mortgage specialist such as ourselves is that if rates do change between the time that you commit to buy a new home and the time that you move into the new home, we can always keep an eye and review the market and make sure that you are on the most competitive rate. It's one of the questions we're being asked a lot by our customers at the moment.
So James, there's been a lot of changes in the base rate, but what actually is the impact of that?
Yeah, sure. So over the past 12 months, Bank of England have increased interest rates. We're now at the point that it's 4%. But I think the really important thing to remember is just because bank rates and base rates have gone up, it doesn't necessarily mean that mortgage rates have gone up. And we've actually seen, with the most recent increase up to 4%, that caused the availability of rates for our purchasers to actually come down. So,
just touching on that a little bit more, but judging the recent headlines, interest rates are only ever going up and affecting mortgages. I'm looking at Andy, this one's for Andy.
Yeah.
But what is that the case? And what's the impact of that?
Yeah, not at all. Rates this year have only reduced and continue to reduce, and this is again why we feel it's really important for anyone looking at purchasing a home to take advice from us as early in the process. We can dispel those myths. Interest rates have only been reducing this year, which is good. It's very competitive out there.
So I feel like we're sending customers the message around going to speak to advisors, specialists.
Yeah.
Ultimate question is, now a good time for people to make that move, and are people in a better position than they think they are?
I think it's always about your own personal set of circumstances, but I think a lot of people would be really surprised if they did come and see us, come and speak to Redrow, or come and see one of our specialists to see really how we can help them move, because there are lots and lots of options that they may not appear to them directly in front of them. When they have those conversations, I think they'll see that there are lots of options for them.
And what is the current availability in the mortgage market at the moment?
Lots and lots of products available. It's no different than it was 12 months ago. People do say to us, I believe there's not many mortgages available at the moment. That's totally untrue. There's just as many products in the market as there was a year ago. And also more innovative schemes such as the Green Mortgage Scheme.
So what are green mortgages?
Green mortgages are available on energy efficient homes like Redrow homes that are rated A or B on an EPC rating.
Fantastic.
What it means is that the mortgage lenders will generally lend more on an affordability basis to people buying energy efficient homes. That's because they're cheaper to run, and those customers have more money to be able to spend on a mortgage payment. And we're starting to see now lenders offering more preferential terms and lend people more based on the energy efficiency of a home.
Okay, great. And Alex, are you seeing any trends around people interested in more energy efficient homes on Zoopla?
Yeah, I think people are starting to understand what a more energy efficient home means, and in very simple terms, you can save money on your energy bills. So the recent research by the House Builders Federation suggests that you can save £3,000 a year on your energy costs, and because lenders are starting to factor that in, consumers are responding, and so we've seen a real increase in trends for people looking at how much it costs to run a home, what is the EPC rating, and so there's some fantastic research out there as well to suggest that.
Wow, that is quite some saving, isn't it, James? Can you just touch more on that HBF What a Save report that's just been updated?
Yeah, sure. So I think, the really interesting thing is not only is there a £3,000 a year saving in energy bills by buying a new home, at the same time, if you own a second-hand home and wanted to bring that up to the same standard from an energy efficiency rating as a new build home, it's going to cost over £70,000 to carry out that work. So it's really quite compelling when it comes to then when you're carrying out that comparison between purchasing new v old and energy efficiency.
Are you seeing this change as a result of customers wanting to have more energy efficient homes and having that interest in that area?
Yeah, sure. I think, there's two things at play here. We've done lots and lots of consumer research and customers are telling us this is what they want, this is what they expect now. Equally, I think from a Redrow perspective, we want to ensure that we're also doing the right thing and we don't just want to be working to regulation and always reacting to what we're told to do. We want to go further and faster now and that's really important to us.
Yeah. So I'm going to ask you all the million-dollar question right now. Is now a good time to move?
Yeah, I'll go first there. I think it is going to be very much down to people's personal circumstances. However, there's great mortgage availability. And I think if people are sat there on their hands thinking, I'm going to wait until something changes in the market, the level of interest rates we're at now are going to be quite normalised now for the medium to long term. Like Andy mentioned earlier, if you do secure a mortgage and before you move into the home, the rate does come down, you get the benefit of that. So there's really, no benefit of you sat there waiting. So it's a great time to purchase.
Great.
Yeah, I'd just echo James's comment really that, it is very personal and a lot of people right now will be taking stock, looking at their personal finances, maybe thinking about investing in their current home. And actually, I think they'd be very surprised to see the sorts of savings that we've talked about available to them. And so, it might just be the right time for that person to move into their dream home. Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
And from a mortgage perspective, with rates coming down and being really competitive and all the different products and the availability out there, it's a great time from a mortgage perspective to consider.
Fab. So if people are going to make that move, what would be your one best tip that you can advise them?
Top tip is come and speak to a specialist. Come to a Redrow development, speak to one of our sales team. They can really look at your own set of personal circumstances and work out how we can help you buy a home. And then equally, we've got people like Andy who can give some great advice when it comes to mortgages. So yeah, seek out specialists.
Yeah, I again, sorry, I'd echo that, but, seek out the specialist, do your research, understand your position before you make that decision, but also try to sort of filter out some of the noise. It's very tempting. Everyone's got an auntie that is staring into their crystal ball about what's going to happen next in the property market. I always say if your car broke down, you'd seek a mechanic for advice, and you should do the same in property.
I like it.
We'd always advise that people engage with a new homes mortgage specialist as early as possible in the process to understand what they can afford to borrow, what they can afford to buy, how much the monthly repayments are going to be, and understand the difference with all the different schemes that we've got available now.
Right, that's a wrap, everyone. Thank you so much for joining and sharing lots of useful insights. James is actually back with us on our next episode as we talk all things eco-electric homes and air source heat pumps. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye for now.